Hi, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Stelina. Together, we are moms to 5 children, including 2 sets of twins.
At Tweet Dreamzz, we are passionate about helping families achieve the peaceful night's rest they deserve because we were formerly overwhelmed and sleep deprived ourselves.
We love nothing more than helping families achieve their specific sleep goals,
so the whole family can be rested and thriving.
On this podcast, you'll not just hear about sleep-related topics. We'll chat about how it started,
where we are today,
and the experiences that have shaped us as mothers of twins.
We hope you'll enjoy listening to the ups and downs,
the highs and lows, and everything in between.
Hey, Stelina, today we are going to share our thoughts on the best time to sleep train, right? I think this is a common question that we ask ourselves a lot. Did we do it at the right time? Should we have waited? Should we have started earlier? What does sleep training mean? So for you, tell me what you think sleep training means and kind of what your driving factors were for the decision that you made.
Sure. And I totally agree. I feel like on discovery calls, I always get this question, is it too early? Did I wait too long? Is it going to work? Can I still feed them at night if I want to, et cetera, et cetera. So personally for me, my own personal opinion here is I am team set good habits from the beginning, especially with sleep, because, I love my sleep. I love my kids to love their sleep. I love routines. From the very beginning, I tried my best to set good habits and good routines. So, as far as we are concerned, and as far as, most pediatricians would agree, the earliest you could start sleep training would be 16 weeks. And, we work with a lot of adjusted ages because we have twins. So we do want to wait as close to, the adjusted period to line up correctly. I definitely agree with that. So I sleep train all my kids right around 4.5 months. That's just kind of what worked for me. That's when I thought they seemed ready. That's when they had totally surpassed their birth weight. That's when I even asked the pediatrician, hey, what do you think? No problems, totally go for it, whatever. Had her blessing. And at that point with the twins and with my son, I was just I need to do this. It's been months, that's just how I felt. But I also have a really low threshold for lack of sleep. Some people can walk around life on barely any sleep and they're just chipper. And I don't know how they do that. That is a skill. So if you have that skill, hooray to you people, but I don't.
Yeah, we don't have it over here.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't have it. I have some broken sleep and I'm oh my God, I slept so terrible. I need to go take a nap or something. But that's my personal opinion. What I like to work with, I think my favorite age to work with is around the 5 to 6 month mark when I'm working with clients. And that's just because I feel baby's bigger. Okay, we can get on a better nap schedule. You can start as early as 4 months, but there's no denying 4 months is still really little, right? And sometimes we're still keeping a night feeding at 4 months, even while sleep training. You can totally do that, guys, if you want to. I feel it's easier to get into a rhythm around that time. I feel parents are usually a little bit more comfortable, maybe allowing some crying, because we always say, unfortunately, there's no method that's tear-free. Although we try to limit it as much as possible, with protests, there's going to be a little bit of crying here and there, and we're going to get into that in a different episode. So I won't talk your ear off about that. But yeah, I'd say in a nutshell, for me, I say start as early as possible for your own sanity if you want to. For me, working with clients, I love working with every single age. I can see pros and cons to every single age, but I love working with those 6-monthers. I just feel it's a nice sweet spot. We can get on a good nap schedule. Babies are happy. Parents have been doing this for half a year. So they're okay, I kind of know what I'm doing in some regards, but I just need to tighten up on sleep. So yeah, that's how I feel. What about you? You feel the same, different?
Personally speaking, we started really early, and I still think back and I'm kind of flabbergasted that I do what I do every single day, talk about sleep, baby sleep, sleep training, toddler sleep, the whole sleep gamut. When I was thinking about this last night, that I didn't even know that what sleep training was even while I was pregnant.
Okay.
I don't know if seriously, I don't know if I missed some memo somewhere or I wasn't following the right people online. I remember being so underprepared when it came to the sleep aspect of things, that what I did as far as sleep training was almost like a survival mechanism for me. So we did sleep training pretty early. I do know that my twins were over the 12-pound mark, and that they were eating like 24 to 26 ounces in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
So that really kind of was like and maybe I had researched out a little bit, were kind of like those markers for me to be like, okay, because in my mind at that point, I thought that maybe sleeping through the night and sleep training only had to do with feeding. Like, I just thought it was like it was the process of getting rid of night feedings.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, does that make sense? And maybe other people could be like, yeah, that's how I think about it too. I had no idea that there was these other foundational things that we were teaching and laying forward, so that the night feeding wasn't even like an issue, or it wasn't required or wanted by the baby, I guess I could say it that way. So long story short is we sleep trained really early. They were just a hair earlier than the 16 weeks. Not going to sugarcoat that. But guys, I was back at work. I was miserable. I remember one night I threw my husband a birthday party. Okay. I was like, okay, he hasn't like seen his friends in, almost 4 months since the kids were born. Neither of us are sleeping. I really wanted to like have a nice night for him. And we had done where I took the second half of the night and he always took the first half. And I thought that these kids just slept, that he put them to bed and then they slept until the feeding. No,
Mm-hmm.
They were up and they were up and cranking every 30 to 45 minutes. And I was like, wow, my babies like really just don't know how to sleep at all. And it was kind of like an aha moment for me. And I was like, okay, I really need to like do some research here and figure something else out. And so that's why we started so early, just because it truly just needed to happen, like for my survival. And I just knew my kids were so overly tired because of the lack of sleep they were getting at night. They did not get those newborn stretches that we hear about. None of that. So we started super early. We also decided to night wean based off those factors I just said, and it went pretty seamless for us. So yeah, I think we're kind of here, team start early, but we want to talk through some other ages and why there's some perks to starting later, right? I mean, that is a thing. People come to us at every age
Mm-hmm.
and they say, oh, it's been okay for like the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, but now we're kind of like meeting this regression or teething, whatever the issue is. And we're no longer feeling like we can sustain. So we've met our threshold. Stelina and I's thresholds happened a long time ago.
Yep.
Your threshold might be later on. And that's totally normal and totally okay. So when we think about sleep training, kind of 0 to 6, we kind of just talked about that. But if we think about sleep training 6 to 12, I can think of a couple benefits to starting at that age. Two. One being the babies are rolling over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Good point.
I love it when babies roll over in bed. They get comfy and they get their little bottoms in the air, and it's the cutest thing. So think about being stuck on your back at 4 and 5 months old and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
tired of laying on my back. So when we get that developmental skill, I do find that kiddos are so much easier to self-settle. Do you agree?
Definitely. Yeah. Especially, that rolling phase where they like can only roll onto their belly, but they can't roll back. And then they get so frustrated. Oh, I didn't like that phase. That one was a tough one for us. But yeah, once you're like surpassed that or past that, and they know how to roll both ways and they can get on their belly or they're starting to get on their belly, you're definitely kind of turning a corner. So I can see that.
Hey, twin mom, we see you. When we say we get it, we really do. At Tweet Dreamzz, we are a team of sleep consultants who are also raising twins at home. Our twin sleep coaching packages are specifically tailored to your babies, making the journey of teaching independent sleep as stress-free as possible. Trust our years of experience working with twins so that you can feel relieved that the answers lie with us. Start by booking your free discovery call to learn more, because we can't wait to meet you and help you with your sleep goals. You can find the link to book your call in the show notes. And also with like 6, 7, 8, 9 months, older, we're starting solids, food. And so for those mamas out there that are maybe like breastfeeding and really watching their, child's weight gain and curve, when we get to that solid food stage, I feel like it's almost like a little bit of like a step up in that you're like, okay, well, I know you can't be hungry at night because you're eating those 3 meals, whatever that is. So I feel like that's an extra boost to, have that motivation to sleep train / night wean. And also, maybe naps are a bit better because we're not worried about just being primarily bottle fed or breastfed, right? I mean, we're on a liquid diet, guys. We're like probably hungry a lot. And so I do find that those ages kind of unlock some of those new things where we have a couple more, things lined up that make just the sleep training process easier. Okay. Also, when we get into those older ages, like 6, 9, 12 months, we just are naturally taking less naps throughout the day. And what we help families with every day is not just the night sleep, it's naps as well. And I'm a firm believer that every time we get to drop a nap, we should like have a parade because it's just the less amount of naps we're taking. It's the less amount of nap time routines. I don't know about you, but naps stress me out, and babies are unpredictable when it comes to naps, especially when we have twins. One wants to take a good nap this day. The other one wants to take a good nap that day. They don't line up and we never get like this beautiful day of naps. That's how I felt. So the less amount of naps we're taking, the older we get, the easier it would probably be to quote unquote like nap train. Okay, when we think like kind of getting into that toddler stage, 13 to 36 months, so that's like really 13, like 1-year-old all the way up to 3, we can really kind of talk about maybe let's talk about like in crib. If we're wanting to sleep train our 1-year-old, 18-month-old, 24-month-old in a crib, it's still very, very doable, right?
Sure, yeah. No, we do it all the time, yeah.
And I mean, you haven't waited too long. It's not like your window of opportunity has passed. We can set up a new sequence of events concerning sleep at any time, whether we're 7 years old or 36 years old or 1-year-old. Okay. We're just teaching a new way, a new skill. So what I find with this age is it still is, like I said, 100% doable. It's also less complex because child is likely not eating at night. And if they are eating, maybe like having milk or some type of comfort feed, that's exactly what it is. It's just a comfort feed. It's unless your doctor, your medical provider is telling you that your 18-month-old needs to eat at night. They don't need to be drinking water. They don't need to have a sippy cup of milk, and they don't need to be on the breast. This is just a habit at that age, and habits can chain like super lightning quick, which is exciting. One thing I'll mention of a downfall at this age is that we like to stand in the crib at this age. And when we think about sleep training, I always tell parents to really be in tune with the baby's body position, because if we're in position, we're already like close. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like a baby on its belly with its little butt up in the air, we're close. A toddler that's standing, we're not close.
I know.
So like, and you just worked with a client that the baby literally learned to stand in the crib, like while you guys were in session together. And it's like, okay, like this is, we're here. Like, let's work through it together. She was, how old was she?
She was young. She was like 7 months starting to stand up.
8 months. Yeah. 8 months old.
She had just turned 8 months, but when we started, she was 7.5 months.
That's nuts.
I know it is. My son was like that too, though. So I can relate. I feel like the biggest issue there is they learn how to stand, but then they have a hard time getting down. And then it's like this, do we help them? Do we not? Kind of thing. But it's the same thing with the rolling. It's the same thing with almost all of these milestones. Practice during the day, and then make the crib as safe as possible so that you can know, like, okay, hypothetically, if they fall down from standing in the crib, not much can happen, right? So, yeah, but milestones.
And it's a quick learning curve, because if we fall down on our bottom and we like do bang our head a little bit, like they're not going to want to do that again, and so they're going to get better at it. a quick tip there is if your child is standing in the crib, like let's not lay them down. We do want them to be able to get down, because even when we go to toddler stage, if you put the baby down, they're going to stand up and like watch you walk out of the room.
Totally.
And then it's their job to get back into the sleeping position. So really give them the space to do that. But you can coach them by like getting down on your knees and like putting your arm through the slats of the crib and like really patting that mattress and giving the key words. And then I would also practice in the daytime and have like, you know, happy cheers and smiles and good jobs and things like that. So when we're sleep training the older ages, guys, those habits, like I said, can really pick up lightning quick. It can go much faster than you think. And so it's definitely not a bad age to start. Maybe you're co-sleeping with your first child and you have a baby on the way and you're like, wow, I mean, this is my threshold. Mm-hmm. It had been working for us for 18 months. It's not working for us anymore for whatever the reason is. Your reason's your reason. And you want to get baby in the crib, toddler in the crib, so that you can bring the next child into the world. Go for it. You have the resources here with us, and you haven't waited too long. It really is a decent time, and it's less complex than when we do it with younger babies.
So I think it's never a bad time to sleep train. Personally, I think that whenever you want to do it, if you want to do it, it's really just teaching independent sleep skills, right? We talk about this all the time. And, you know, I just said this on the podcast that I was a guest on. You know, think about all the things that our kids learn and pick up so quickly at any age, right? You know, whether it's they're a toddler and they're learning how to tie their shoes or ride a bike, or they're little and they're learning how to roll, or they're learning how to talk or stand or walk, right? Like they learn all these things, you know, so quickly and with us right there. So they are totally capable of learning how to sleep independently if that is a goal of yours. So yeah, I am just like always here to help parents whenever they are ready to take it on. I personally couldn't have done it by myself the first time. I needed you to help me with that. So I just love paying it forward and helping other parents. Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, guys, thanks for listening today. We'll be back next week. Again, thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you later. Bye.
If you liked this episode and conversation, be sure to leave a review or rating. Share it with a friend on social media or a family member. It's our goal to reach as many parents of multiples and singletons alike. You're not alone in your parenting journey. If you'd like to hear about a specific topic or have an episode idea, please feel free to message us. We're here to help.